August 2025, Uttarkashi, a serene Himalayan town, was suddenly transformed by a catastrophic flash flood. Torrential rain pounded the region, overwhelming rivers and triggering landslides. Within hours, homes were swept away, roads vanished beneath muddy torrents, and entire communities were left stranded. The devastation was swift and merciless, with dozens of lives lost and many more missing. Rescue teams struggled to reach affected villages as communication lines went down. This disaster was not just another monsoon event, it was a cloudburst, a rare and violent meteorological phenomenon. As the news spread, the world watched in shock, wondering how such destruction could unfold so quickly in this mountainous paradise. Cloudburst is an intense, sudden downpour that can release more than 100 millimeters of rain in less than an hour. Unlike ordinary heavy rain, a cloudburst is highly localized, often striking a small area with little warning. The sheer volume of water overwhelms natural and man-made drainage, leading to flash floods. In the Himalayas, steep slopes and narrow valleys amplify the destructive power of these events. Meteorologists explain that cloudbursts occur when warm, moist air rapidly rises and cools, causing clouds to dump their moisture in a concentrated burst. This is why cloudbursts are so dangerous. They strike fast, with little time for communities to react. Flash floods are sudden surges of water that occur within minutes or hours of heavy rainfall. Unlike regular floods, which build up over days, flash floods are immediate and violent. In Uttarakhand, the combination of steep terrain and intense rainfall means water rushes downhill at incredible speeds, sweeping away everything in its path. The 2025 Uttarkashi flood is a textbook example. Rivers overflowed, bridges collapsed, and debris-laden torrents destroyed infrastructure. Flash floods are especially dangerous in mountainous regions, where valleys funnel water into narrow channels, increasing its force and destructiveness. Uttarakhand sits in the heart of the Himalayas, a region defined by towering peaks, deep valleys, and fast-flowing rivers. The state's geography makes it breathtakingly beautiful but also highly vulnerable to natural disasters. Glaciers feed major rivers like the Ganga and Yamuna, while steep slopes and loose soil make landslides common. The valleys are often narrow, channeling rainwater and increasing the risk of flash floods. In Uttarkashi, the combination of elevation, glacial melt, and monsoon rains creates a perfect storm for disasters like the 2025 flood. Rivers of Uttarakhand originate from glaciers high in the Himalayas. These rivers, including the Bhagirathi and Alaknanda, carve deep valleys as they flow southward. During the monsoon, glacial melt combines with heavy rainfall, swelling these rivers to dangerous levels. The 2025 flood saw riverbanks breached and entire stretches of road washed away. The interconnectedness of glaciers, rivers, and valleys means that any disruption, like a cloudburst, can have cascading effects throughout the region. Elevation plays a crucial role in Uttarakhand's vulnerability. The region's high altitude means cooler temperatures and more precipitation in the form of snow and rain. Valleys are often V-shaped, which channels water rapidly downhill. When a cloudburst occurs, the steep slopes and narrow valleys funnel rainwater into powerful torrents. This unique topography, while stunning, leaves little room for water to spread out, increasing the risk of flash floods and landslides. Glaciers are a vital part of Uttarakhand's ecosystem, but they also pose risks. As global temperatures rise, glaciers are melting faster, releasing more water into rivers. This increases the likelihood of floods, especially when combined with heavy rainfall. In 2025, glacial melt contributed to the swelling of rivers during the Uttarkashi disaster. Scientists warn that as glaciers retreat, the risk of sudden glacial lake outburst floods, where a dam of ice or rock gives way, also grows. Monsoon brings heavy rain to Uttarakhand every year, but extreme rainfall events are becoming more frequent. Meteorological data from 2025 shows that Uttarkashi received over 150 millimeters of rain in just a few hours, far above normal levels. Such intense downpours overwhelm the land's ability to absorb water, leading to rapid runoff and flooding. Climate scientists attribute these patterns to global warming, which is making weather more unpredictable and severe. Landslides are a constant threat in the Himalayas, especially during the monsoon. When heavy rain or glacial melt loosens soil and rocks, entire hillsides can collapse, blocking rivers and creating temporary dams. In 2025, several landslides in Uttarkashi blocked river flow, causing water to build up and then burst through with devastating force. These natural dams can fail suddenly, unleashing flash floods downstream and compounding the disaster. Steep slopes of Uttarakhand's mountains mean that rainwater doesn't linger. Instead, it rushes downhill at high speed, picking up debris and gaining destructive power. In the 2025 flood, this rapid runoff turned small streams into raging torrents within minutes. The combination of steep terrain and intense rainfall is a recipe for disaster, making early warning and preparedness all the more critical. 2025 Uttarkashi flood left a trail of destruction in its wake. Entire villages were submerged or swept away, with homes reduced to rubble. Families lost everything: shelter, possessions, and in many cases loved ones. The force of the water was so great that even concrete buildings crumbled. Survivors described scenes of chaos as they scrambled to higher ground, watching helplessly as their homes disappeared beneath the floodwaters. Bridges, roads, and power lines were no match for the Uttarkashi flood. Key highways connecting remote villages were washed away, cutting off access for rescue teams. Power outages plunged entire regions into darkness, while broken pipelines left communities without clean water. The destruction of infrastructure made recovery efforts even more challenging, highlighting the vulnerability of mountain communities to natural disasters. Tragically, the 2025 flood claimed dozens of lives, with many more missing or injured. Entire families were displaced, forced to seek shelter in temporary camps. The emotional toll was immense as survivors mourned loved ones and faced an uncertain future. Relief agencies rushed to provide food, water, and medical aid, but the scale of the disaster made it difficult to reach everyone in need. Flood didn't just affect people, it also devastated Uttarakhand's fragile ecosystems. Forests were stripped of trees, riverbanks eroded, and wildlife habitats destroyed. The sudden influx of debris and sediment polluted rivers, threatening fish and other aquatic life. Experts warn that such ecological damage can take years, if not decades, to heal, and may have long-term consequences for biodiversity in the region. The aftermath of the flood, local communities showed remarkable resilience. Neighbors helped each other rebuild, sharing food and shelter. Volunteers organized rescue operations while local leaders coordinated relief efforts. Despite the trauma, the spirit of solidarity was strong, with people coming together to support those who had lost everything. This sense of community is a vital part of recovery in disaster-prone regions. Government agencies and NGOs mobilized quickly to provide emergency relief. Helicopters dropped food and medical supplies to isolated villages, while rescue teams worked around the clock to find survivors. Temporary shelters were set up and medical teams treated the injured. The response was swift, but the scale of the disaster meant that many challenges remained, especially in reaching remote areas. For survivors, the road to recovery is long and difficult. Many lost not just their homes but also their livelihoods. Farmers saw their fields destroyed while shopkeepers lost their businesses. Rebuilding requires not just physical reconstruction but also emotional healing. Support from government and NGOs is crucial, but so is the determination of the people themselves to start anew. One of the key lessons from the Uttarkashi flood is the importance of early warning systems. Modern technology, including weather radars and satellite monitoring, can provide advance notice of extreme rainfall. In some cases, alerts were issued before the 2025 flood, but not everyone received them in time. Improving communication and ensuring that warnings reach even the most remote villages is essential for saving lives in the future. Land use planning is another critical aspect of disaster resilience. Building homes and infrastructure in safe zones, away from riverbanks and landslide-prone slopes, can reduce the risk of future disasters. In Uttarakhand, rapid development has sometimes ignored these risks, leading to greater vulnerability. Experts recommend stricter building codes and better enforcement to protect communities from future flood. Preparedness at the community level can make a huge difference during disasters. Training residents in emergency response, conducting regular drills, and establishing evacuation routes all help save lives. In some Uttarakhand villages, community-based disaster management committees played a key role in the 2025 flood response. Empowering local people with knowledge and resources is one of the most effective ways to build resilience. Technology is transforming disaster management in the Himalayas. From real-time weather monitoring to mobile alerts, new tools are helping authorities respond faster and more effectively. Drones are being used to survey damage and locate survivors, while apps provide vital information to residents. The 2025 flood showed both the potential and the limitations of technology. While it saved lives, gaps in coverage and communication remain. Uttarakhand has faced several major floods in recent decades, each offering lessons for the future. After the 2013 Kedarnath disaster, authorities invested in better warning systems and evacuation plans. However, the 2025 flood revealed that more needs to be done, especially in remote areas. Learning from past mistakes and successes is essential for building a safer, more resilient region. The 2013 Kedarnath flood was one of the deadliest disasters in Uttarakhand's history. Heavy rain and glacial melt triggered massive floods and landslides, killing thousands. The tragedy prompted major reforms in disaster management, including the installation of early warning systems and stricter land use regulations. The 2025 Uttarkashi flood shows that while progress has been made, ongoing vigilance is needed. Climate change is making the Himalayas more vulnerable to disasters. Rising temperatures are accelerating glacial melt, while changing weather patterns are causing more frequent and intense rainfall. Scientists warn that unless global emissions are reduced, extreme events like the 2025 Uttarkashi flood will become more common. The Himalayas are often called the third pole because of their vast ice reserves, making their stability crucial for millions downstream. Unique geography of the Himalayas makes the region especially vulnerable to climate-related disasters. Steep slopes, fragile soils, and rapidly changing weather all contribute to the risk. In Uttarakhand, these factors combine with human activity, like deforestation and unplanned construction, to increase the danger. Protecting the Himalayas requires both local action and global cooperation. Government policy plays a crucial role in disaster preparedness. In India, national and state agencies are responsible for monitoring risks, issuing warnings, and coordinating relief. The 2025 flood highlighted the need for better coordination between agencies and more investment in infrastructure. Policy reforms such as stricter building codes and improved emergency response are essential for reducing future risks. Non-governmental organizations and civil society groups play a vital role in disaster response and recovery. In Uttarakhand, NGOs provided food, shelter, and medical care to flood victims. They also advocate for better policies and help communities prepare for future disasters. Collaboration between government and civil society is key to building resilience in vulnerable regions. Disasters like the Uttarkashi flood often attract international attention and support. Aid agencies from around the world provided assistance, while experts shared knowledge on disaster management. International cooperation is especially important in the Himalayas, where rivers cross borders and climate change is a global challenge. Sharing resources and expertise can help all countries in the region prepare for future risks. Media coverage of the 2025 Uttarkashi flood brought the disaster to national and international attention. News outlets provided real-time updates, while social media helped coordinate relief efforts and spread awareness. Accurate reporting is crucial for mobilizing support and informing the public about risks. The media also plays a role in holding authorities accountable and advocating for better preparedness. Educating people about disaster risks and preparedness is essential for saving lives. Schools in Uttarakhand now include disaster management in their curriculum, teaching students how to respond to floods, landslides, and earthquakes. Public awareness campaigns also help adults understand the importance of early warning and evacuation. Building a culture of preparedness starts with education. Local communities in the Himalayas have developed traditional ways of coping with natural disasters. These include building homes on higher ground, using flood-resistant materials, and maintaining forests to reduce landslide risk. In some cases, traditional knowledge proved invaluable during the 2025 flood. Combining modern science with indigenous practices can create more effective disaster management strategies. Women often play a central role in disaster response and recovery. In Uttarakhand, women organized relief efforts, cared for children and the elderly, and helped rebuild homes. Empowering women through training and leadership opportunities can strengthen community resilience. Gender-sensitive disaster management ensures that everyone's needs are addressed during emergencies. Children are among the most vulnerable during disasters. The 2025 flood disrupted schooling, separated families, and exposed children to trauma. Relief agencies provided special support, including safe spaces and counseling. Protecting children's rights and ensuring their safety is a top priority in disaster response. Psychological impact of disasters can be long-lasting. Survivors of the Uttarkashi flood experienced grief, anxiety, and trauma. Mental health support is an essential part of recovery, helping people process their experiences and rebuild their lives. Community counseling and peer support groups have proven effective in aiding emotional healing. Economic cost of the 2025 Uttarkashi flood was immense. Agriculture, tourism, and local businesses suffered heavy losses. Many families lost their primary source of income, while the government faced huge expenses for relief and reconstruction. Rebuilding the economy will require investment, innovation, and support for affected communities. Insurance can help families and businesses recover from disasters. In Uttarakhand, few people had insurance coverage before the 2025 flood, making recovery even harder. Expanding access to affordable insurance and risk transfer mechanisms can provide a safety net for vulnerable communities. Governments and insurers are now exploring new ways to protect people from future losses. Storing the environment after a disaster is a long-term process. In Uttarkashi, efforts are underway to replant forests, stabilize riverbanks, and clean up debris. Environmental restoration not only protects against future floods but also supports biodiversity and local livelihoods. Community involvement is key to successful restoration projects. Sustainable development is essential for reducing disaster risk in the Himalayas. This means balancing economic growth with environmental protection and social equity. In Uttarakhand, sustainable tourism, eco-friendly construction, and renewable energy projects are helping to build a more resilient future. Long-term planning and investment are needed to ensure that development does not increase vulnerability. Experts warn that the risk of floods in Uttarakhand will remain high as long as climate change continues and development outpaces planning. Monitoring river levels, maintaining early warning systems, and enforcing land use regulations are all critical. The lessons of 2025 must guide future policies to prevent similar disasters. Resilience means the ability to withstand and recover from disasters. In Uttarakhand, building resilience involves strengthening infrastructure, empowering communities, and investing in education and health. The 2025 flood showed that resilience is not just about technology, but also about people, neighbors helping neighbors, and communities working together. Adapting to climate change is a challenge for the entire Himalayan region. This means updating building codes, investing in green infrastructure, and developing new water management strategies. Communities must also be prepared for more frequent and severe weather events. Adaptation is an ongoing process that requires innovation, investment, and cooperation at all levels. Experts recommend a range of policy measures to reduce disaster risk in Uttarakhand. These include stricter land use regulations, investment in early warning systems, and support for community-based disaster management. Policymakers must also address the root causes of vulnerability, such as poverty and environmental degradation. Effective policies can save lives and protect livelihoods. Uttarkashi flood is a reminder that mountain regions around the world face similar risks. From the Andes to the Alps, communities must adapt to changing climates and increasing disaster threats. Sharing knowledge and best practices across borders can help everyone build a safer future. The lessons of Uttarakhand are relevant far beyond India's borders. Despite the devastation, there is hope for Uttarakhand. Communities are rebuilding, the environment is slowly recovering, and lessons are being learned. With continued support and investment, Uttarakhand can emerge stronger and more resilient. The spirit of the people, their determination to recover, and the commitment of all stakeholders offer a path forward. 2025 Uttarkashi flood was a stark reminder of the power of nature and the vulnerability of mountain communities. It highlighted the urgent need for better preparedness, stronger policies, and greater resilience. As we look to the future, the key question remains: how can we live safely in such beautiful but dangerous terrain? The answer lies in learning from the past, investing in the present, and planning for a safer tomorrow.